With games still releasing for last gen, what in your opinion is the best looking last gen game, or rather, what game gets the most out of the hardware graphics wise? Kind of like what Arkham Knight was for the PS3. Wasn't Arkham Knight on the PS4?
I was going to say Arkham Knight for PS4. And then he's
Arkham Knight for PS3 is actually on Switch.
Oh!
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question.
Brilliant.
I'm going to go to you on this one first, John. I think on balance, Red Dead Redemption 2 would be my pick, but what do you think?
Oh, that's difficult. You're right. Red Dead Redemption 2 is definitely going to be very, very, very high on my list there. But I might also venture, man, it's maybe not as good. I still think freaking Uncharted 4 looks incredible.
Yeah.
There's just something about the way the presentation plays out in there. And even Red Dead Redemption 2, I think, doesn't compete in terms of cutscene quality.
Yeah.
Again, very different games, but just like the presentation of those cutscenes in Uncharted 4 is unbelievably high quality. Really, really at a high level. And it takes it over The Last of Us Part 2 for me, just because I think the setting is more pleasing and varied, and they're able to run wild with colors and cool designs in a way that you really can't do in The Last of Us. So it's one of Red Dead 2, Uncharted 4, those are top. And then I would also throw in, honestly, Arkham Knight. I think Arkham Knight looks insanely good still today. Like, it's hard to believe that it's running on such old technology, but when you see it running properly, it's just like, wow, this was a stunning achievement. And it's one that obviously Rocksteady themselves was not able to top at all.
Right.
With Suicide Squad, which is nowhere near as impressive looking, despite doing some pretty cool things technically. It's still Arkham Knight wins on that one.
Mm-hmm. Oliver?
I'm going to pick one a bit out of left field here, and I'm going to say that Battlefield 1, while it's not the most impressive, perhaps, I think it did a lot of things that were really cool, especially really early in that generation, because it had great-looking lighting and big battles and a gigantic scope, and then you had all these like Leviathan things, these map-changing things like the trains and the big boats and the Zeppelins in particular. Those Zeppelins, when you went on the Zeppelin and you took it down, and there's all this fire and all this smoke, and the skeleton of the Zeppelin is falling down and making impact with the map and breaking structures. That to me was such a cool thing. And then when DICE went to Battlefield 5, and then later Battlefield 2042, those elements, those big, large-scale elements, destructive elements, interactive elements, those were kind of gone and put to the wayside. Instead, you had like fancy weather and things like that, but they weren't quite as compelling there. So I think that game, in terms of what it was pushing while running at 60 FPS, and at least a lot of content, especially on PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, I think that was a really compelling title. And it came, pretty early into that generation. But for, like, in an absolute sense, I'd have to go with Tilu Part 2, probably, just because of Naughty Dog's incredible artistry there, incredible technology, just taking advantage of PlayStation 4 hardware to produce something that is just incredible cinematic and storytelling experience that really has, no major compromises. I mean, on that hardware, it takes advantage of it perfectly. I think the reliance on light maps worked perfectly for that hardware. And it was just an exceptional experience. But I think Uncharted 4 also has its merit just in terms of having a larger scope, having more action, having more crazy sequences and eye-catching moments. Uncharted 4 also stands out there, even if certain elements of the storytelling technology and the cutscenes, character rendering, crazy like cloth stuff, that's all better in The Last of Us Part 2 Adventure.
Man, there's two more I would throw in the ring, though. Death Stranding and The Order 1886.
Right.
I think those are phenomenal looking games.
Best looking last gen game.
Stunning.
They're up there. I'm not sure they'd be the best looking.
Yeah. I feel like Death Stranding is close though in some ways, but that's tech plus art coming together to create something that's so striking and unique looking.
It's fair.
And maybe if we go to pre PS4 Pro, then the Order stacks up there really high, I think.